What if I told you I was named Teacher of the Year at the exact moment my life was quietly falling apart? What no one saw as I gripped my trophy were my hands shaking because I was battling my daily alcohol withdrawal. At the time, drinking was not about fun. It was about holding myself together. Every morning, I would show up for my students, smiling through the fog of shame and fatigue. And every night, I'd promise myself I wouldn't open another bottle, and did anyway. Today, I am nearly 5 years sober. Thank you. I'm a coach for people in recovery, a meeting leader in a sobriety community, and a teacher turned college educator who helps others live more honestly. But back then, I was still hiding, trying to look successful, but feeling completely lost. I gave everything to my students: late nights, weekend programs, home visits. I checked every box, hoping it would make up for the fact that I was falling apart behind closed doors. On the outside, this looked like success, but inside, I was coming undone. And this isn't just my story. It's one I see again and again in sobriety groups, in coaching sessions, and on the college campus where I work. Society often imagines that recovering from addiction starts with a dramatic rock bottom, but many of us just lose touch with ourselves, pretending to be fine. My own story isn't unique, and my unraveling was not one big moment. It was actually a slow accumulation of breaking points until the mask of achievement got too heavy to maintain. That's when I took my first step. I told the truth to myself. I said, "This isn't working. I can't keep doing this." Now, that moment of honesty did not fix everything, but it opened me to the possibility that I didn't have to keep living like that. The next step terrified me. I quit my job. Teaching had been my identity, but I knew staying in the classroom was keeping me from getting sober. I had to leave, even when letting go felt like failure. And then, in the boldest step I had taken yet, I told my truth to the world. I wrote publicly about my addiction, my relapses, the shame I had carried for years, and how I nearly lost myself. Sharing my story felt like raising my hand in the biggest room I could find. And when I braced for rejection, I got acceptance. Comments like, "I thought I was the only one," they landed on me like a warm blanket. But the deeper work came when I asked, why do we hide in the first place? Researcher and author Brené Brown describes shame as the belief that we are unworthy of love or belonging. She explains that we either walk inside our story and own it, or we stand outside our story and hustle for our worthiness. I would add that many of us are left standing outside our stories when we are taught that we are not enough. And we learn that through the ache from a comment about our body, a grade that doesn't measure up, or the moment that someone chooses someone else instead of us. And over time, that ache becomes the background noise of our lives. And unchecked, it shapes our choices. We start performing instead of living. I see this across the types of people I work with. Though the behaviors differ, that fear underneath, it's the same. If I slow down, will I still be lovable? If I stop performing, will I still belong? And when that answer feels like no, many of us disconnect to escape that ache. We live as if that ache is the truth, but what if it's not? What if that belief is a lie? Here's the thing. We're all born worthy. We just aren't taught that we are. And the real work isn't to become enough. It's to remember we already are. And when you stop performing for your worth, you start to question everything you had been chasing, including that version of success you built without it. Studies on values alignment show that when people live out of sync with their own values, they actually experience greater stress and burnout risk, regardless of their achievements. So let's use that to reimagine what success or achievement might mean. What if success wasn't about proving something to someone else, but about pursuing what matters to you? For example, in recovery, I've learned to ask different questions. Not what will make them proud, but what brings me peace? Not how can I prove myself, but what feels true to me? I didn't come up with these questions, but I've seen how powerful they are, not just for people in healing spaces, but for anyone who's tired of putting up appearances. I think of a student I'll call Maya. On paper, Maya was thriving, but she was exhausted. And we kept circling back to this conversation. What is costing you your peace? Eventually, it clicked. She wasn't being herself. She was being who others needed her to be. So, Maya practiced saying no, even to the people that she bent over backward for. And guess what? Her life didn't fall apart. It finally became her own. So now, I offer these same questions to you. What brings you peace? What feels true to you? You don't have to answer these questions right now, but take them with you. Let them guide you toward a life that belongs to you and not your accomplishments. Because I know when our lives belong to our accomplishments and we still feel empty, we reach for something, anything, to fill that space. For me, alcohol filled the space where self-worth should have lived. Maybe for you, it's not alcohol. Maybe it's overworking or shopping. It might not look like addiction, but the pattern, it's the same. And studies on coping mechanisms show that whatever we do, the brain responds the same way. And the thing you think is helping you cope is probably what's keeping you stuck. I love how Laura McCowan puts it in her book, We Are the Luckiest. She says, the normal question is this bad enough for me to have to change? The question we should be asking is this good enough for me to stay the same? And the real question underneath it all is, am I free? Are you free? Are you free? That's the turning point. Because once you see the cycle you are trapped in, you can't unsee it. The mask of achievement, the bottle, the pressure to be perfect, it's not saving you. It's suffocating you. So maybe it's time we look at things a little differently. What if addiction wasn't just about substances, but all the ways we disconnect to escape pain? And what if recovery was about us coming home to our worth and then building our definition of success on it? Because the truth is, whether or not you identify as being in recovery, if you know the pressure to be perfect, to hold everything together, to fill the void, this message, it's for you. Healing begins when we stop abandoning ourselves for other people's expectations. Are you willing to abandon others' expectations for your healing? For me, success is living in alignment with who I really am. But what about you? Here are some steps I use to guide others toward a definition of success that's truly their own. Number one, tell your truth to yourself. Name the external expectation that is hurting you. In sobriety spaces, we say, you are only as sick as your secrets. And research backs this up. People who practice honest self-reflection report reduced stress and greater well-being. Number two, take one small step to release that expectation. Cancel a commitment. Pause before saying yes. Sustainable change happens when we take small steps that feel safe and doable. And that's an approach that is supported by habit formation research. Number three, tell your truth to someone else. Raise your hand in a meeting. Text someone you trust. Decades of research in social psychology show that vulnerability and social connection are among the greatest indicators of emotional health. And number four, live your truth. It is the highest service to your worth. And I know because I'm standing here as proof. And if I could go back and speak to my younger self or my daughter, Amara, the first time someone makes her feel unworthy, I would say this: You don't have to earn your worth. You are already enough. Let that be the truth you return to again and again when the world tries to make you forget. Because I promise you, when you stop abandoning yourself, you're not just changing your life. You are changing what is possible for everyone connected to you. This isn't just about recovery. This is about thinking differently about what it means to live well. And the most successful life, it's not the one that we are all running away from. It's the one that we can sit with and be present in. Back then, I thought that trophy proved I was enough. Now I know I was worthy long before I ever held it in my hands. And so are you all. Thank you.